So let's dive into more specifically into online learning.
Yes.
Yes, online learning has never been more popular than this day and age with the pandemic. So what are some problems with online learning, especially some technical problems?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you just mentioned, we can't escape from the fact that online learning is so dependent on technology.
Yes.
And whenever technology is involved, there are already, a huge amount of problems that could arise, with related to internet connection issues, or maybe not really understanding the software or the system. So when students are kind of faced with classes that require this technology, it's a really good idea, firstly, just to get used to them, maybe even having like a few practice sessions before they actually start using them for real. And just kind of looking around and seeing all of the different features and getting a bit of a higher sense of comfort with the technology. Nobody really likes having their face on the webcam, but honestly, from a teaching perspective, it's so important that people do show their face, because in an online capacity, we're trying to replicate an in-class person or in-class session as much as possible. So for a teacher to see other people's faces and for a student to see other people's faces, that's when you start to build a sense of almost community within the class. And if you've just got names, it's super difficult to build that kind of rapport. But if you're kind of in a lesson and we know things can happen, I have taught before and I've had internet connection issues. If, for example, a student is kicked out because of the internet, or they kind of goes blank for a while, if they can mark down the time that they got kicked out, and then when they come back in, they can ask their lecturer either, can you share with me the recording of the session, which most lecturers do, or if there's a kind of section you can say, okay, between now and now, this bit I was kind of kicked out for, could you maybe help explain that? So just being aware of, firstly that issues will arise, and then just being kind of prepared for when they do eventually arise.
And get used to that. And also, like you mentioned, reaching out to the teachers and to ask for the recording or to the re-explanation. But the problem here with a lot of students is that we're so afraid to ask, the teachers questions, and because we're not really well acquainted with the teachers in person. And sometimes for a lot of students, teachers is just like big brothers, not kind of tangible person on the screen.
Sure.
So how can we build the relationship with the teachers and to ask questions and to get better at that?
Firstly, I was the same at university, because my lecturers are like absolute experts in their field, and they've got PhDs and they're super smart, and I was like, I'm going to ask a really stupid question.
That's right.
And they're just going to look at my email and be like, Stewart Utley, I can't answer. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
And when you actually, for example, myself now working at a university, I love students asking questions, because for me it shows that students actually care about their learning and they're interested in the topic. So I will never ever be angry at a student asking a question about something in the lesson. So changing the mindset so that knowing as a student that lecturers are not only expecting questions, but they will enjoy answering your questions. And so kind of having that in mind reduces how scary the idea is, because you write out your lecturer's email in the email bar, and you're like, this person's an expert and I'm asking them a really silly question. But honestly, teachers are very well used to teaching students of all levels and all abilities, and so they'll be more than happy to help out the students who actually take the time to reach out.
I cannot agree more. That's a very innovative approach to online learning, and to see all of us are the learners, and even the expert was once a beginner, so just don't be afraid to ask questions, guys.
Viva Student Life.